Welcome back to the show where we give you all the Dolphins news you need to know about. Remember, guys, this podcast posts each and every single Monday. If you like that, then please go check out the channel and support it in any way you possibly can. Obviously, this week was Jet Week. It's a very big week for Dolphins fans. Huge week, obviously. And we were able to get the W. I think, Adam Gase's record versus Todd Bowles' the New York Jets is pretty dang good. I think he's only lost to them one time in his entire career. His record versus AFC East opponents is actually pretty good, other than the Patriots. He's only won once against so far in his career. So, this was a interesting game going into it. Obviously, we start with the box score, 6-13. Let's start with the offense, which literally did not show up to the game. I was worried going into this game, extremely worried, because I knew how aggressive the Jets are as a play calling on defense. Todd Bowles is a very good defensive coordinator. If the Jets ended up firing him, I would love to have him on our staff. I'm sorry, I'm sick, guys. As our defensive coordinator. He's a tremendous play caller, in my opinion. He is super aggressive. He gets teams off the field. The Jets rely on turnovers. That's, the reason all of their games that they've won have been blowouts for the most part, because when they get turnovers, that really helps out their offense. It gives them short fields and stuff of that nature. So they really rely on their defensive unit to make plays for them. And I was really concerned going into this game because Brock cannot push the ball down the field. The reason we've had success against this football team since Adam Gase has been here, other than only two other games that I can think of that we won, including this one, and the other one was obviously when Tannehill was healthy earlier in the year. In the second game of the season we won. But other than that, we usually hit some deep balls against them. And that's how we've really beaten them in the past, is because they're so aggressive. We're able to push the ball down the field a little bit. And I was super concerned because Brock can't do that. He's never been able to do that at a high level. And you really have to show a lot of poise, because there are going to be bodies flying all around the place. You're going to have to deal with a very stingy run defense, so you're going to have some down and distances in this game. You just have to make a play, and I was very concerned. And again, we were not able to push ball down the field. We had opportunities to do so, opportunities that were missed because of Brock Osweiler. And this is really the third game in a row where he has not played well. Or second, I guess 2 games in a row. But even against the Lions, I told you guys, he missed plays. He's literally missed a touchdown in all three games. And that's unacceptable. He has not played well. This was the worst game he's played. In a game where both teams aren't going to score a ton of points because of their defenses, and all you really need is a couple of plays here and there, especially how this particular game was going. We only needed a touchdown, which was literally the difference in this game. So to miss opportunities like that, how the defense was playing at the time, it hurt us big time. Whoever scored a touchdown in that game was going to win it. Unfortunately, our defense came up with that touchdown. But yeah, Brock played terrible. He finished the box score. Obviously, the final score of the game was 13-6. Brock finished 15 of 24. 139 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The only thing he really did right was not turn the ball over, because if we did turn the ball over, we probably would have lost, just because of how the Jets play on as a team. Like I said, and all their wins, they were able to turn the other team over. So yeah, the passing game was non-existent. Brock missed touchdowns. He missed wide open receivers at times. Even on the plays he did complete, like some of those checkdowns, which he's checked down McGee, for God's sakes. The one to Kalen Ballage, he threw behind him. He was off the entire game. He was completely off. It was really, really bad. So yeah, the passing game was non-existent. The offense as a whole was non-existent. Frank Gore finished with 20 carries. He really tried to run the football in this game for 53 yards. He averaged 2 yards a carry. Kenyon had 3 carries for 9 yards. He averaged 3 yards a carry. Brock Osweiler had 3 carries for 4 yards. Kalen Ballage had 1 carry for -2 yards. So the running game was non-existent. I really didn't expect it to be anything. Adam put it pretty well after the game. The matchups with our teams schematically, do not fit, and they just out physical us every time we play them up front. And I didn't expect anything else to happen in this game. I just thought we know in the past when we've played Todd Bowles that we have been able to hit the big play against him and move the ball down the field through the air. And that's how we've won all of the games. Really hasn't been on the ground. So I thought that would be available, and it was, and we just didn't take advantage of it. There were plays where it wasn't all on Brock. Maybe protection wasn't the best it could have been. I still feel like if Tannehill was in some of those plays, he would have either rolled out of the pocket. There were times where Brock didn't have to roll out of the pocket, and he took sacks that he didn't need to take. Like, he just didn't show any poise in this game. He played a very bad game from top to bottom. He really didn't do anything right. He was just off the entire game. He scrambled when he didn't need to, when the pocket was clean. He dropped his eyes too much. It was not a good game for him. And like I said, even in the passes he did hit, they were still inaccurate. Our leading receiver for the day was Danny Amendola. He had 5 catches for 47 yards. He averaged 9 yards a catch. Kenyon was second with 4 catches for 26. Kenny Stills 1 catch for 19. Kalen Ballage 2 catches for 17. Jakeem Graham 1 for 16. DP 1 for 8. Frank Gore 1 for 6. And to be honest with you, not their fault. There were times where they were open, and like I said, either it was a protection breakdown. Kenyon had his worst day pass protecting. He got a couple bad breaks in terms of, he could have, he barely missed on one. He didn't get all of Avery Williamson. Obviously, that ended up for a sack. We really struggled with the double gap pressure there that they show. And they really never dropped out of it for the most part. So yeah, it was a struggle, man, on offense the entire. I mean, we were so bad. We were so bad that we picked. First of all, I don't know why T.J. McDonald slid, because I was like, why? He shouldn't have done that. He knew our offense wasn't moving the ball. Literally couldn't get an inch on as an offense, and that was nobody else. I mean, literally. Adam Gase could have. He tried. I mean, we tried the Wildcat with Kalen Ball. We were trying everything, dude. And he plays a nice after game, but he knows. There was that report that I don't have on the docket today for the news that said the team literally. They won't say it publicly, but privately they have said. I think this is on Miami Herald. If you guys want to go read it, that they don't believe in Brock and they think he's holding the team back. He's missed a lot of plays in these last few games, and obviously that's a problem. And we continue to have problems with him as our starter, but it was just a really weird game. Again, we have really poor quarterback play right now. Hopefully Tannehill can get healthy, and that needs to be fixed in the future. I think we'll probably get into that later in the show. But yeah, it was just a very, very bad day on offense. I really hope Tannehill can come back as soon as possible. Hopefully he's not super rusty. Everybody else is in midseason form. Obviously he has missed. I mean, he literally played three games. That was it. So that's not a lot of games. That's 3 games. He has almost played. Before that, the last regular season game he played was in 2016. That was Adam Gase's first season. Adam Gase is currently in his 3rd, going on to his 4th season in the National Football League. Think about that for a second. That's crazy, dude. That's a lot of games missed, man. And it's getting really ridiculous, dude. It's getting really, really ridiculous. So yeah, offense play god awful. And hopefully this can be fixed soon, because we got the Green Bay Packers coming up, and I can tell you right now they're not scoring 6 points. So let's get into the defensive side of the football. This is wrong, but so we'll start with the secondary. Sam Darnold, this is wrong. I don't know how many yards he actually had, but statistically, in this box score, for some reason, he says he had 0 yards. I mean, he might as well have had 0 yards. He played terrible. He threw 4 interceptions. Our secondary was all over the place. I have never seen us execute zones so well in a game. I mean, the pick six was off of zone coverage. I have never seen us execute it at such a high level. Fourth down and long, we played zone coverage. The breakup that Xavier Nauer had to set up fourth down, that was zone coverage. I have never seen us execute like that as a team and have that kind of chemistry on the field, because that zone is that. You have to communicate. You have to make sure everybody's where they're supposed to be, because one breakdown, and so is man coverage to a certain extent. It's just a lot easier to understand in man coverage, but I've never seen us execute zone like that since Matt Burke has been here. Since Vance Joseph got here. I haven't seen execution like that in a very, very long time. It was a huge step in the right direction. Hopefully we can continue. And that has nothing... The Jets, they're not world beaters on offense at all, but that has nothing to do with you executing zone. That's what players that they have out there. It has nothing to do with that. It just comes down to execution, and we executed it beautifully. Obviously, with the 4 interceptions, the only reason they got 3 out of the 6 points that they've got, their best drive was before halftime, right before halftime. Really stupid how we didn't kick the ball off first. Really don't know what happened, especially how we've been starting slow all season. Don't know why he did that. It was really dumb, but he did, and obviously they got ball at half. They could have double dipped the chip. Unfortunately for us, they did not, but he did. They scored 3. That was legit. I'd have to go back and look at that drive to see if there's any penalties on it, but the other scoring drive that they had was just a bunch of face mask penalties, which was just, I mean, the first one was ridiculous, and Audrey Branch, again, that's the kind of stuff that makes me want to pull my hair out. But the second one, it was kind of like, well, that was just bad luck. Raekwon couldn't get a hold of him, and he just grabbed a bad spot. So yeah, our defense literally played lights out. Our secondary, like I said, I haven't seen execution like that since the Bengals game, and even in that game we had some breakdowns. In this game we had 0 breakdowns. We played beautifully on offense. The execution, our defense, the execution was flawless. We fit the Ziggy Hood, the addition of Ziggy Hood and Sylvester Williams. I can't remember. I want to say Williamson, but I'm getting Avery Williamson's name mixed up. They did their job. We switched up to our front. We matched their personnel really well, which I liked. When they, came out in their running formations, we matched. Don't know why we didn't do that against the Lions. Who the heck knows? But it could have been the fact that Ziggy. I thought those two did a very, very good job of stopping the run in this game. Raekwon McMillan, he had his best game of the season. His previous best game was definitely against the Bengals, but he had that one sick stop where he basically blew up the guard and tackled the running back at the backfield. Jerome Baker continues to have a tremendous rookie season. If it wasn't for a couple miscommunications, he would pretty much have a flawless rookie season. That Lions game was by far his worst game. If it wasn't for that, then I really have no problems with him, and he's a rookie linebacker, for God's sakes. In terms of the receivers, what they finished with, for some reason Sam Darnold, it says he had 0 yards for 4 interceptions. That's not true. I don't know how many yards he finished with. Chris Herndon finished with 4 catches for 62 yards. Quincy Nunwa 3 for 40. Robbie Anderson 4 for 32. Jermaine Kearse 3 for 20. Cannon 1 for 15. Can't remember his first name. Isaiah Coyle 1 for 11. Eric Tomlinson 1 for 6. Jordan Leggett 1 for 6. Yeah, we played lights out. I mean, it was locks. It was posted up all day, plastered, bagged, whatever words you want to use. Straight up, sauced. They couldn't do anything, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch. I know that our defense can play at that high of a level every single game. We have the talent to do so. We're going to get into the whole Rashad Jones situation here in a second. But a lot of the things I want to say about the secondary has to do with that, so we'll save it for the new segment. Our run defense was tremendous. This, believe it or not, the Jets run. It's been very inconsistent, the rush offense, but it hasn't been terrible. They've had some pretty big games from the running attack, and we completely shut that down. Let's see here. What did they finish with? Rushing, Isaiah Crowell finished with 13 carries for 49 yards, averaged 3 yards a carry. McGuire finished with 7 carries for 30 for 4 yards on the ground, which was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff there. And again, I felt like the linebackers as a whole, played a tremendous game. Kiko continues to have a sick game. Obviously, finished with that interception. Just to lay out the stats for our defense here. TJ McDonald had 1 interception. Kiko Alonso 1 interception. Jerome Baker 1 interception. Beautiful play by the secondary. Going to the linebackers, Kiko Alonso finished with 4 tackles. TJ 8. He had his best, but TJ had by far his best game of the season. Jerome Baker had 4 tackles, 1 assist. Let's see here. Where is Raekwon? Raekwon had 2, obviously 1 tackle for loss. Again, I felt like the vet DTs played very well in their debut, especially since we just picked them up off the street. I mean, the fact that they played like that, couldn't ask for a better turnout for them. Cameron Wake, our D-line came alive. Cameron Wake came to play, guys. I think let's see here. What did he finish with? Cameron Wake finished with 2 sacks. Beautiful. Robert Quinn didn't finish with any. They were double teaming him for most of the game. So he did. I mean, he did his best. Anytime we try to loop him around on a stunt, it does not work, dude. And that's something that he's done so well against the Rams. For some reason, I mean, I guess they've been game planning for that, but I don't know why we haven't gotten 1 sack off of that, and it's kind of weird. Hopefully that changes. But yeah, teams have been chipping Quinn a lot. And I'm not making excuse because he's had one-on-ones before, but he needs to play better for sure. Cameron Wake balled out. If it wasn't for a couple dumb penalties, the D-line would have been flawless, for sure. So yeah, the defense played well. Hats off to Matt Burke. He got the team ready. He got him focused. And I feel like he switched up some of the fronts. We had Mink on the boundary. He played a whole lot more snaps. Obviously, he should. He's arguably our best defensive player. No corner has allowed a lower passer rating in the National Football League than Minkah Fitzpatrick, according to Pro Football Focus. It doesn't matter what position he plays. He executes it at a very high level. He's everywhere on the field. He is a very special player, and he's, if not our best first-round draft pick in 10-plus years, probably. I'd have to go back and look at it, but if he, I know there's, I guess, more flashy players out there for Defensive Rookie of the Year, but for a defensive back to have that high, I mean, he's allowing the lowest pass rating out of any defensive back in the National Football League, and he's a rookie. That includes Patrick Peterson, Xavier Rhodes, includes every one of them, and he's just playing at such a high level, and in my opinion, he deserves it. I'm sorry, I had a stuffed nose, guys. It almost didn't do it. That's why I didn't do it yesterday, but I had to do it today. So yeah, I apologize for that. But yeah, it kind of went off ramble. Time to get into the news, ladies and gentlemen. And that was a very crucial victory. And I swear to God, Ryan, please come back, dude. Please, please, please come back this week. I cannot deal with Brock anymore. Even though this defense that we're about to play is not on the level of the Jets, and the reason I say that is because they don't call plays like the Jets do. Will they this game? They've switched up their scheme each and every single week, so they might. But just because they saw something that the Jets did well against our offense, but they might. I don't know. But obviously the offense has stepped up. But I think they're going to have an easier time against this Jets team. Alright, let's get into the news, ladies and gentlemen. This first news story comes from the Sun Sentinel. A defining hour for Dolphins head coach Adam Gase. We've reached the amateur hour portion of the Adam Gase era. Maybe it's passes, maybe someone passes with it when everything plays out. Maybe in this era, passes and Dolphins wide receiver off starts anew again, depending how this full season plays out. But when Gase oddly and publicly backed safety Rashad Jones for quitting 10 plays into the Sunday's win against the Jets, it suggested more is amiss in this franchise than just one player gone rogue. Instead, Gase was pointing the long finger of blame at defensive coordinator Matt Burke. It said Gase's top assistant wasn't communicating properly with the star player. It also said Gase didn't know what was going on between that star player and the assistant. Half the team two during a week of ground-breaking and locker-room changing decisions involving the defense. The defense short-term worked to Ricky Minka Fitzpatrick replace the veteran Jones in certain defenses, and nothing failed on the field. The defense didn't surrender a touchdown, and it had 4 interceptions of Jets rookie Sam Darnold. All good, right? But the defining topic of the game has become Jones refusing to play. Quitting on his teammates is considered the most unforgivable sports sin, or it seemed until the fallout from it kept falling. Gase met with Jones on Sunday night and said it is good, and he is now. It's all good, and he is now on the same page with the player who refused to play. The coach, who has repeatedly proclaimed he has nothing to do with the defense, then he said he hadn't talked with Burke, but what Jones would play in Sunday's game against Green Bay. That was very weird. I probably messed that up, but basically what he's saying is you usually don't make any decisions on defense, which isn't true. I mean, he said in the past that even before this game that he's had talks with Matt Burke about certain things. Matt Burke has talked. I mean, they said that before, but leading up to this game, but yeah, we're going to get into what I have to say about this whole situation here in a second. A team leader who has made a series of personnel moves involving players with attitudes, from running back Jay Ajayi last season to cutting defensive tackle Jordan Phillips this season, came out in public support of a player who quit in the middle of a game. So a player who quit in the middle of a game. I think we should start right there. Maybe we'll read this. It's a player quitting on the team. Mike Wallace quit in 2014 finale in what became his last game as a Dolphin. In 2005, Hall of Famer Jason Taylor was so upset about an unknown player quitting during a game that in the post-game locker room in Cleveland, he threw a full coffee pot and had the loudest longest strain of his career, and the Dolphins coach Nick Saban welcomed it. So we'll stop right there. I have never disagreed with how Adam Gase has handled the situation more since he's been here. I don't get it. I don't care. First of all, I had thought before all of this came out, the reason he wasn't playing is because he got benched for Minka, and he was just upset about it. And the reason I thought that is because he's been freelancing a lot in the secondary. Matt Burke has been talking about it. If you watch any of our games the last few weeks, all these busted coverages, it has a lot to do with him. You know, he freelances way too much. He doesn't communicate with anybody on the field, which is unacceptable. And the reason he does that is because he freelances. It's honestly ridiculous. I've seen Bobby yell at him. I've seen multiple players yell at him during games because of this. I'm sorry, my nose is so stuffy, dude. I know this is annoying, but it is what it is. I've seen this multiple times. So I felt when he wasn't playing, that was going through my head when I saw Walt Aikens back there at free safety. I was like, what the heck's going on? But after the game, I was like, it must have been because of that, because he was freelancing, you know, and Matt Burke has said throughout the week leading up into this game that we need to play more as a team. There's too many people doing the wrong thing, and he's right. I mean, I've been saying that for the last 2 years he's been here, and a lot of that has to do with. I mean, dude, you're the defensive coordinator. That falls on you. If the players aren't prepared week in and week out, that's on you. You know, you have to get them prepared. So I thought it had that. I thought it had to do with that. I thought he got benched, and rightfully so. He should have gotten benched. Now, Rashad Jones is Rashad Jones. He's a great player. I feel like you have to schematically put things in there for him. I don't think he can be your end-all, be-all in certain coverages. I don't think you can put too much on his plate. But if he just goes out there and plays instinctively, he's one of the best safeties in the National Football League. But Matt Burke wants it done a certain way because his ego is inflated, and he can't, for some reason can't tailor things to his players. And he kind of doubled down on that leading up into this game, which is fine. I mean, the reason I say it's fine is because we just beat the Jets, and we performed at such a high level. Granted, it's the Jets, and their offense isn't great, but we still haven't executed plays like that in a very, very long time. And I've seen us lose to worse Jets teams. So I was happy about it. The way that our defense have performed. I think if we lost that game and we had another bad defensive performance, Matt Burke would be fired right now. Not only because he's not getting the players ready, but because Rashad Jones didn't play. I think it would be a completely different narrative if we didn't win that game. But since we did win that game, that means, and I don't want to say this, but Matt Burke was right. He's right. And I feel like he should be rewarded for that, not, somebody, and this could be all rumors and not true, but apparently there's some strife between him and Adam and stuff of that nature. There shouldn't be. Matt made the right decision. We won the game. Our defense performed at a high level. I don't care who the opponent is. That's what happened. And he made the right decision. Case closed. So yeah. That's what I have to think about it. That's what I think of the decision. If Matt did bench him, turns out not the case. Turns out not the case, ladies and gentlemen. Turns out number 20 wanted to pull himself out of the game because he was getting less playing time. Because he has not been playing very well, and he's hurting the team. And apparently he cannot accept that. If I were the owner, if I were the GM of the Miami Dolphins, he would not play another down for this team. And unfortunately, he did this after the trade deadline. Because he'd get traded so quick, it's not even funny. He would not play another down for this football team. I don't care if you don't like what the defensive coordinator is saying to you. Suck it up. We're paying you millions of dollars, not to whine and cry on the sideline, but to do your job. And, reality check, you haven't been doing your job. I read an article the other day, and I don't have it with me right now. I wish I did. It was same publication. It was hang on. It was I think it was the Sun Sentinel. Yeah, I think it was. How he's late to team meetings all the time. Didn't know this about Rashad. He's late to team meetings. He's been fired repeatedly throughout his career since Adam has been here. If this is all happening with him, then he needs to not be on the field anymore. He doesn't need to be on the team anymore. Our defense executed just fine without him, and frankly, the rookie from Alabama is a better player than you. He's smarter. He's better in coverage. He's just better in every single way imaginable. So we don't need you, Rashad. We've been having problems with keeping all three of them on the field. We should have switched one of them to linebacker before the season, but we didn't do that because of Matt Burke's creativity lacking a little bit. Really doesn't matter though, because three of the three linebackers have been playing pretty well. So it's a whole rigmarole. And again, if I was the Dolphins owner, GM, whoever is making the decisions, he wouldn't play another down for this football team. Ever, dude. Ever. For all of those reasons. Because he hasn't been playing well. He's late to team meetings. Teammates clearly don't like him, especially after this. All of those things. He's uncoachable. And again, that goes to show you. If Adam Gase had a player like him on offense who was doing some stuff like that, you bet your balls he wouldn't be playing for this team anymore. I don't understand what Adam Gase's thought process is here. I don't know what Rashad Jones told him. I could only think of a million. There's only two things that I could think of where you would be like, oh, that's why you're not like. I don't understand. I don't understand why he is not getting punished for this. Don't understand it. It contradicts everything Adam Gase stands for. It contradicts every decision he's made since he's been here. Like I said, it has to be real dang good, the reason why he isn't getting punished. Because again, if I was making decisions, he would be so far off. He would not play another. He would not get the gratification of playing football again this season at all. It upsets me. As a fan, that's so disrespectful. So disrespectful. I remember after the game there were tweets like, what a great teammate Rashad Jones is, because everybody thought he was benched, and he was all smiles and happy after the game. It's like, dude, like, what the heck And some might say, well, again, if we lost this game, people would be like, Matt Burke's so stupid. Matt Burke's this, Matt Burke's that. He's an idiot. But we didn't. It was the right decision that he didn't get more playing time. And if he was benched by Matt, it was the right decision. He made the right call. He was right. That's what makes this whole situation so bad. Because for once since Matt Burke has been here, he has made a very, very sensible roster schematic change to the lineup. That worked. That made the defense play better as a team. And then Adam Gase is going to, I don't know if this is true, but not agree with that. And not only that, but a player that pulled himself because of the decision that Matt Burke made, which is just pretty much a backhanded slap to Max decision making, who pulled himself out of the game, disrespecting the fans, disrespecting the logo on his helmet, disrespecting the organization, disrespecting his teammates, gets to play the next week? That's a whole can of worms. Matt had to have called him a racial slur or something terrible for him not to play. Like, it would have to be something on that level. If he did that, obviously Matt would have been fired the next day or the day of. But I don't think he did that. That would be the only thing in my mind that would be like, okay, then obviously that's fine. I can forgive that. But that is as far as, like, why would you be so upset you would... Obviously, and it's obvious to all of us, he pulled himself out of the game because he's a crybaby, and he's not a grown man who can accept that he hasn't been playing well. How about play better? How about better yourself? Instead of being like, I'm not going to play. Fine, Rashad. Fine, don't play. We don't need you to play, dude. We were giving up 40-plus points with you in the lineup, bro. Get out. Bro, the reason you're sitting down right now is because 29 is better than you. That's how football works. I have never turned a dime on a player so hard than right now. I love Rashad Jones. And if you've listened to this podcast for long enough, you know that. I've praised him. I said when his contract situation was going on that we needed to re-sign him. He's such a big part of this team, such a big part of this defense. Never turned on a dime. And I've known this about Rashad. He's not a very smart player. He never has been. But Belichick has said it multiple times. Wes Welker said it when he was playing against him. He said he's an idiot. That's why he picked on him so much. And clearly, that's hurting the football team at this particular time. Get off this team, then. If you can't handle that, clearly he can't. That's why he pulled himself off. You're not playing for this organization anymore. And I don't even want to see him on the field. At all. And you know what? This is what really ticks me off. This is the last thing I'm going to say about it. Adam Gase is so secretive about... He should have been 1,000% transparent with us. What happened? I don't care. The conversations between me and him and all this other stuff. At least, at the very least, give us a vague answer of why he did it. And what Matt Burke's process and what he thought of the situation was. I cannot wait to hear Matt Burke speak, dude. I cannot wait, bro. It is so stupid that he wasn't 100% transparent with us. That doesn't make any sense, dude. He pulled himself out of the game. We need an explanation for everything that happened. You can't be like, that's between me and him. It's none of your guys' business. To me, that's disrespectful. To us, dude. We are the reason that you're sitting there talking to a camera, dude. If it wasn't for us, none of this would happen. That logo wouldn't exist. Those colors wouldn't exist. None of it. None of it. Rashad wouldn't be paying millions of dollars if it wasn't, guess what? For us. He should have told us, again, it didn't have to be whatever. We didn't have to hear everything. But at least an outline of what happened. He didn't even do that. And again, I've never been so upset at Adam and his decision. It's an absolutely ridiculous one. And I could care less about it. Rashad can go play for the Jets tomorrow, and I'd be happy about it. I don't want to see him on this team. I don't want to see him on the field. And again, let's say it is that bad. Let's say there is information in there where we're like, oh, I get it, Rashad. I get why you did that. Then Adam should have told us, dude. Instead of keeping it secret. If I was his teammate, bro, I wouldn't even be able to look him in the dang eye, dude. If he was any kind of leader on this team before, guess what? He's not anymore. Not even close, dude. Not even close, bro. Absolutely disrespectful. Absolutely disrespectful. Just absolutely unacceptable. So, let's get into the next news story, and then we're going to get into fan questions. This next news story comes from FanSided. The Miami Dolphins... Okay, let's see here. The Miami Dolphins offense needs to step up. The Miami Dolphins have averaged 300 plus or so yards per game in the majority of the season. In those two specific outings, Miami doesn't even pass 200 total yards. With quarterback Brock Osweiler only throwing for 139 and 15 completions out of 24, but sacked 4 times for a loss of 35 yards, and 3 of them being on third down. The Jets ran obvious blitz plays, and Miami just had no answer for them whatsoever. The Green Bay Packers will see this and know how to follow that type of scheme. Miami's also had costly penalties when they got in field goal range, when they had drives that had potential, when they completely stalled after 10 yards would set them back, and they have to gain 20 to just continue the drive. This cannot happen week 10 versus the Green Bay Packers. So the reason I brought this up is just to talk about the offense, and what I mean. I guess we talked about it enough. Yeah, obviously, dude. But a lot of people are blaming this on Gase for some reason, and I just don't understand that. Brock Osweiler is our quarterback right now. I don't understand how people hate Adam that much. You're gonna look past that fact that he's our quarterback, dude. Brock Osweiler is our quarterback. He's one of the worst starting NFL quarterbacks in the National Football League history, dude. He's made some decisions that you just are like, I don't even know how that's. It's like Jameis Winston level. Like what? Wow, dude. He was so bad in Houston that when we played Houston, they were all looking forward to revenge, dude. That's how bad he was, bro. And they publicly said that. Their head coach said that, dude. Completely disrespecting him. The only player that didn't disrespect him on that team was J.J. Watt, bro. So I just wanted to say that because I just don't want to get like it was like dude, like come on, man. It's a miracle that we had we had 5 almost 600 total yards against the Bears, who at the time were the #1 ranked defense in the National Football League, and we haven't did anything like that in like what 20 plus years or so, maybe even more than that. And that was with Brock, bro. So, count your blessings, because we're lucky to be 5-4 right now with him in the lineup. And nobody wants to give the head coach credit for that. That's ridiculous and stupid. All right, let's get into the fan Q&A. This first question comes from Mark. Let's see here. Mark said, any predictions for the Green Bay game? If Tannehill is back, I think we can hang with them, especially if the defense travels to Green Bay. I'm guessing 27-23 Miami. Depending on where Tannehill is at, and like I said, hopefully there's not too much rust on him. I'm sure, and I hate to say this, but we probably would get out to somewhat of a slow start because of that, even though we get it out to slow starts anyway, which isn't obviously great, especially since we're going on the road to Green Bay. Yeah, I think definitely we would have a way greater chance of winning if Tannehill was in the lineup. That's for dang sure. At least the playbook is a lot. It expands a lot more with him in the lineup. G 2003 says. Sorry, I'm touching the mic a lot. Because I'm sick. I don't want you guys to hear this snot. When will we use Luke Falk as a starting quarterback? Not this year, dude. If Tannehill continues to miss weeks, I can't see him missing more games after this because we have the bye week after Green Bay. But if let's say that did happen, then I would get Luke Falk ready but he's a rookie quarterback. That's a tough one, dude. That's a tough one, bro. To be honest with you, I think the best case scenario for us is to keep Brock in the game. in the lineup. Unfortunately. Hell yeah, brother, go Fins. He says, do you think Mika should play the boundary and move Bobby to the slot? 1,000% yes. 1,000% yes. And since Rashad Jones is still going to play, then just keep those two back there at safety and put Mika on the boundary. 1,000%. Fin says, where is your podcast after the Jets game? It's Tuesday already. Dude, I've been sick, bro. I'm sorry. Been very, very sick. Hell yeah, brother. Go Finn says, would you consider benching Osweiler for fails? No, because there would be no point at this point. I mean, they're not very good. David's definitely a better deep ball thrower, and he probably has a little bit more athleticism and ability to get out of the pocket. But no. J.R. Shelton says, another question. Do you think Kiko is at a Pro Bowl level since he's second in tackles with 83 and 3 interceptions? 1,000%. 1,000% he's going to be in the Pro Bowl. He's had his best season since his rookie season. Going back to that question from Hell Yeah Brother Go Fins, the reason I would say not bench Osweiler for fails is because chemistry and stuff of that nature with the team. And again, there's not just the margin of difference there is not big enough. To sacrifice chemistry. Will says, do you think it's possible we don't see Rashad Jones next season? I wouldn't want to see him now. But for some reason, he's immune to stuff like that. Jarvis wasn't. He never did anything as bad as that. Jay, well, first of all, I could care less. Listen, I know Jay got hurt. And I'm not saying it has nothing to do with him getting hurt. He did not. I don't care what people say. He was not a world beater with Philly at all. So that's a whole different situation. Yeah, I just don't understand it. I like I said, I wouldn't want to see him this season for the rest of the season. Take Me Out says, on the positive side, can you talk a little bit about what a tremendous asset special teams coach Rizzi is to the organization and how this unit is responsible for a good 1 to 2 wins this year? Oh, 1 to 2 wins. Yeah, we should have another win because of them if it wasn't for 2 bad decisions at the Bengals game. Yeah, Darren Rizzi is the probably second or first best special teams coach in the National Football League. I would say John Fossil is probably the best special team coach in the National Football League, but I don't know. I feel like Darren is also good at accumulating talent on that side of the football because he just can switch kickers and make the play at a high level. And we've seen how valuable that is in the National Football. You know how the Chargers would kill for someone like him, dude. So would Cleveland. So yeah, he's one of the best at what he does. Will says, ugly game, but our promising rookie came up big. You're great on Jerome Baker so far. And what are the keys to having a chance against a vengeful Aaron Rodgers this week? I don't know about vengeful. I don't know what the heck he's vengeful for, but Jerome Baker has played very well as a rookie. He's exceeded everybody's expectations of him. Some people didn't even think he was going to start. Obviously, he had a really good preseason, and then he carried that into the regular season. I mean, dude, I'm not going to put a grade on it because I think that's stupid, but I'm very proud and very, very happy with the way he's been playing. And what are the key, dude? To be honest with you, there is no defense, there is no philosophy, there is nothing when it comes to Aaron Rodgers that you can do. You just got to do your job and play football at a high level against him. That's as far as that goes. I would say, one of the things you want to focus on is rush lanes. Make sure he doesn't break the pocket as much. You want to get pressure up the middle. The scramble drill defense, which was really good against New York, by the way, has to carry over to Green Bay. Stuff of that nature, I would say, are keys to the game. And obviously, offense has to pick up their weight. This question comes from Mark. He says, would you like to see Miami draft a quarterback, and who would you like us to select? I hope we can get 1 year out of Ryan and draft Tua from Alabama in the 2019 NFL draft. Maybe draft a developmental quarterback round 4 or 5 this year too. There's no one that I like in this draft. Drew Lock has disappointed me. I don't think he's going to really be that great in the National Football League. Will Grier from West Virginia, really don't I don't think he's anything great. I really think you have to have great athletic ability that carries over to the National Football League to be successful early on in your career in the National Football League. And none of them really have that, like, it factor to them where I'm like, dude, he does this very, very well. I don't see any of them being stars in the National Football League. Scobert, Flobert, can't remember his name right now, the kid from Oregon. Since everybody's been, I don't watch a ton of college football, and I didn't watch a lot of him, and I've said that in this past podcast, that really can't, the verdict's out on him. I can't comment on that. I've seen flashes. I've been watching a lot of him. I've seen flashes of, like, oh, that was really good, but nothing really crazy. And obviously he's going to go very early on in the draft. I don't think he's worth mortgaging anything for. Don't even see anything real, like, oh, he has, like, again, there's nobody in that draft, and I'm trying to think, because I could be missing people, that I like, that I would pick in the first round. There's nobody in the first round that I'm like, yeah, he's going to be a franchise guy. So, yeah, I think Tua's going to be a superstar on the next level. He's by far the best quarterback in college football right now. Yeah, I would mortgage stuff. Like, I would give up a first round pick for Tua for sure. There's no one I would say, yeah, he's going to be your franchise guy. So, yeah, I agree. I don't think, if you want to take develop a guy in the 4th or 5th, you can. I don't mind that at all. But yeah, I agree that Tua, it's because the let's say everything goes terribly wrong, right? And Tannehill plays terrible, which I don't think is going to happen. I still think he's the franchise guy. But in this hypothetical world, I, as a GM, would sign Teddy Bridgewater. Apparently, the Dolphins really like Teddy Bridgewater if Tannehill doesn't work out. I agree with that. I would sign Teddy, see what he can do for a season, and then if that doesn't work out, I'm going all in on Tua. Coincidentally, Tua wears number 13. So, but yeah, I still believe in Tannehill. And if he comes back, doesn't play well, then that's, I guess, the blueprint. Emmanuel says, do you think we will bring in Bradford? Read today that Tannehill is still experiencing pain. No. Ugh. Gross. Okay? No. I'm sick of Jay Cullers. I'm sick of Sam Bradfords. I'm sick of Brock Osweiler's, dude. They're not worth it, bro. It's not worth it. Clearly. Our team... Dude, players on the team literally said privately, and this is an article, he's holding the team back. Didn't you say that about Tannehill? They could have. Haven't. Get him out of the lineup, dude. I can't wait till number 17 comes back. So no, I definitely don't bring Bradford in. Paradise Found says, why do you think our offensive play calling is so predictable? I don't think it's predictable at all. I think it is especially last game, it was very... dude, we were just trying to take everything off of... He was playing terrible, dude. Brock was playing terrible. The playbook shrinks a lot when your quarterback plays like that, especially since they were sending so much heat. There was not a lot you could do from a play calling standpoint. Excuse me. It's going to be really gross in the mic. There's not a lot you could do from a play calling standpoint with him as your quarterback. Plus, the offensive line wasn't playing very well at the time. There's not a lot you can do, dude. There's not. We need a better quarterback. Gamer says, do you think... And I guess I answered you. You weren't saying that you just asked why is it so... I just gave you an answer. I wasn't mad. I'm mad at the situation on the field. I'm not mad at you. Gamerific says, do you think Jerome Baker is our future Rashad Jones? I don't know what that means. Like, no. Jerome Baker, dude, is having a better start to his career than Rashad Jones. Corporate Gamer says, I seen in a recent mock draft for next year that had Miami taking Daniel Jones out of Duke. What are your thoughts on that? This upcoming draft? So next year, not in 2020 when 2 is available. No. Like I said, I don't think so, no. Douglas, and I haven't watched a lot of Daniel Jones. Maybe I gotta go take a look, but I don't think so. Douglas Ware says, if we get Ryan back next week, or even, and that's where the question ends, Douglas. If we get Ryan Tannehill back next week, I hope we do. J.R. Shelton, this question comes from J.R. He says, what are 5 things the Dolphins need to do to win against the Packers next week? Defensively, make sure the rush lanes are there. Get pressure on every third down. Plaster to the receivers when he breaks the pocket, because he will. And play really good red zone defense. Those are the things that we have to do at a high level. Offensively, protect the quarterback. That's about it. Whoever's back there. Will says, who is and I think we can run the ball against this team, so hopefully we do that too. Will Virgo says, who is the midseason MVP of the team? Minka Fitzpatrick. He's been the most consistent. He's played at the highest level for the most consecutive weeks. Take me out. He says, will the injuries ever stop? Not sure that I've ever seen a team lose so many key players. Really weird, because we had such a healthy training camp, such a healthy off season. Then when the regular season rolls around, we lose everybody. Cameron Wake, literally, he basically said this was the best thing he's ever said at press conference when asking about all the injuries and stuff. And this is why I give Adam Gase a pass. He's like, we're missing our starting quarterback. We're missing all these players. He says even I wasn't playing at the time. So it's really bad. And everybody should be praising him for how good of a job we have done with such little. Because it could be worse. Douglas Ward, he says, any thoughts on Gesicki? I'm disappointed he hasn't been more involved. I am also disappointed. And it's not even... He just hasn't been on the field enough, dude. And when he gets his opportunities, he's getting double-teamed at times. Like, we haven't been in the red zone a lot this year, and that's had a lot to do with it. Hopefully, we change some of those things since we're through the halfway point. Maybe after the bye, we do some things. Maybe he breaks through that rookie wall. We'll see. Mark says, do you remember the fake spike go-ahead touchdown last time we played Green Bay? Yeah, that I was actually watching that in a chicken wing place. I remember clearly. I was watching it with the Green Bay Packers fan, and obviously the fake spike wasn't a touchdown. It set up a touchdown, and she screamed in my face, dude. She literally screamed in my face, and the thoughts that went through my head, I'm not gonna share on the mic, but it was one of the weirdest experience. I was like, why? Like, why would you do that? First of all, and it wasn't right, dude. It was a very depressing time. Very depressing. Esteban says, are you concerned about Rashad Jones pulling himself from the game? What am I concerned about? Concerned about what? He shouldn't be on the field anymore he shouldn't wear the uniform. He shouldn't put the colors on. He shouldn't do anything for this team anymore. I'm not concerned. You know why? Because we played better than him without him, and we haven't been playing well with him. So no, I'm not concerned at all, dude. I'm concerned about how Adam Gase has been handling it and how this locker room is going to react to it. Because again, Matt was right. Adam should have backed him up and said, yeah, he's not playing again this year. And what make matters worse, he made a really weird and crazy decision and said he is playing next week and did explain himself. Corporate Gamer says, do you like seeing the aqua uniforms today instead of always the white uniforms? Also, why did Rashad Jones take himself out of the game? We've been talking about this entire podcast. I am a huge fan of the white uniforms, always have been. Doesn't mean I don't like the aqua uniforms, I just like them better. Corporate Gamer says, is Tannehill going to return? It was nice to see them, though. Is Tannehill going to return next week? Because we really need him to even have a chance to beat Green Bay. I'm glad everybody, because usually there's a lot of hate. I'm glad everybody's at least like, yeah, Brock sucks. I'm glad we can all agree on that at least. Brock's terrible. And I agree with that, obviously. Skaggs Prediction says, what are your thoughts on having 20 carries opposed to Drake's 3? Also, I think Will Gray would be a good draft pick for this upcoming draft. What are my thoughts on that whole situation? A lot of people are crying about that. Kenyon Drake is so indecisive sometimes. I thought Frank Gore made a lot out of nothing, a lot in this particular game. He's so indecisive sometimes. In a game where they were going to get a lot of penetration, we couldn't have that. So I don't mind it. I still think he should have gotten more carries, but it's not like it was the worst decision on the planet. Corporate Gamer says, why did Devontae Parker suck again? Because of Brock? Can't throw the dang ball downfield and miss them on a wide open crossing route? Jonathan said, should we pick up Sam Bradford? I feel like he would be better than Brock. I mean, dude, he would have to learn the playbook. No. Sam Bradford sucks, bro. And he is better than Brock, but there's no reason to do that. Steve says, this question comes from Steve. He said, I thought Tannehill was throwing a practice. He messed up with his shoulder. Do you think he is trying to get Gase fired? Why is Mike Gesicki not being utilized better, or any of the tight ends for that matter? Frank Gore retires. What should we do at running back next season? Normal teams have either a good offense or a good defense, but we are still crappy on 1 week. The defense is good and the offense is terrible. The offense is good and the defense is terrible. It's like each squad is playing hard enough not to get fired. Thoughts? There's a lot of questions in there. I would definitely line up Adam has lined him up at the slot and stuff like that. It just hasn't worked out. Whether it's protection, the quarterback's not playing very well, whatever it is. A lot of it, to be honest with you, has nothing to do with Mike himself. And yeah, I can't really answer why, some of the inconsistencies. Corporate Gamer says, why is our offense so bad? This game, I don't know. Oh, well, I do know. It's because our quarterback at this very moment is not very good at all, and he can't make plays. He can't make something out of nothing. He's not a playmaker. He's not a very good quarterback to begin with, and it's really hurting this team. Even the teammates said that. Steve says, why do we suck? Steve, shut up. We're 5-4 in the playoff hunt, dude. We should be lucky that we're even there. Most teams would have folded up already, bro, with all these injuries. Folded up, packed up, and got out, bro. This question comes from Jack Pack, the last question of the podcast, and the last thing I'm going to say in this podcast. He says, I'm continually unimpressed with the offense and Gase. I know they have a lot of injuries and Brock is playing quarterback, but still, no offensive touchdowns is pathetic. Also, nice to see the pass rush show up. Do you think the defense is fixed, or are the Jets just that bad? No, because the Jets aren't great or good, but they're but the plays that we were executing wouldn't have mattered what you had out there. It was nice to see us execute that. I'm about to sneeze. I was about to. Here I go. If you made it this far in the podcast, you don't care. Hear my voice for this long. Care about some sneezes. What the heck was I saying? I can't remember. Yeah, no, the defense. It wouldn't matter who they had out there. The zones that we executed was just great communication. It was really good to see that. So sorry, guys. What the heck was the other question? Offensively, not scoring an offensive touchdown is pathetic. It's pathetic because Brock Osweiler can't throw. I mean, we had Danny Amendola for a touchdown. If we had more time on certain plays, we would have had touchdowns. If you have coaching's tape and you could see it, and even if you watched the game, you could tell that. I mean, there were plays where people were running open. Either we didn't get enough time, or the quarterback couldn't make the play. For the most part, the quarterback just could not make the play. There were plays where people are. I mean, dude, he has made some terrible reads since he's been the starting quarterback. He has made some god awful reads. Simple reads that he's just completely missed, and he cannot make a quick decisive decision. He is so. Excuse me. He's upsetting me thinking about it. That is going to be it, guys. I hope you guys have a good week. Can't wait for this Green Bay game. Hopefully Tannehill comes back. I am Skaggs for 1083, and I cannot wait to see you guys next week.